Hi, my name is Heather Westcott, and first I just want to thank you for stepping in and helping us as we try to help others who've been affected by all the activities related to coronavirus. What we're trying to do here at Trinity is put together a process and a structure that really has three pieces to it. The first piece is collecting information about the people that are in need, what their situation is, and what their needs are. The second step is identifying what resources we have both within Trinity as well as within the communities where our congregants live. And then lastly, of course, the third step is to be able to take the needs and the resources that are available and marry them together and be able to reach out to people at this time and hopefully provide some support. So I'm going to focus today on the intake process, we call it. And what we're doing is we're using a technology called Google Forms. It's very straightforward. All you need is a PC and access to the internet. You will or may have already received the link, and you just click on the link and it'll bring you right into this form. The form has a series of fields in it, and you just tab through them and enter the information for each of the fields. Hopefully the fields are pretty self-explanatory. There's three sections to the form. The first is demographic information, which is name and address and some basic information about the family and how many people are in the household and so forth. Then the second section of it is what the impacts are to the family. And then the last section is what are their specific needs. So again, hopefully it's all fairly self-explanatory, but there are a few fields that I just wanted to highlight to make sure that folks understood what we were asking and why. So first I want to say that all of this information will be held confidential, and you can let folks know that. It will be shared with a small group of people within the Trinity congregation. That will be the people that are helping to identify what resources we have available and how we can help people. So if there's any information that they don't want to share, that's understandable. Most of it we're just collecting so that we have a better understanding of how they're impacted and how we can help. So just a few things to highlight on the form. The first question on the form is actually where you enter your name and your contact information. In case we have any questions about the information in the form, we just want to know who to reach out to try to get clarification so that we don't have to keep reaching out to that person directly. So that's the first thing to clarify. And then there's a section related to the coronavirus or COVID-19. And we ask questions like, have you been diagnosed? Are you currently under quarantine? And again, that's information that if people aren't comfortable sharing, that's understandable. We want to ask those questions so that we can understand more about what their situation is, but also in the event that somebody needed to reach out, we're obviously avoiding one-on-one contact as much as possible, but should we need to go to that person's home or meet with them for any reason, it would be important to know what their current situation is related to COVID-19. We also ask about any other medical challenges that they might have, specifically related to putting them at risk related to coronavirus. So this would be things like respiratory issues, asthma, COPD. If somebody had surgery, months ago, that's probably not something that we need to capture. It's again helping us understand what is their risk in terms of exposure to coronavirus, as well as if they did contract coronavirus, their ability to recover fully, and that would be impacted if they have a medical condition. If they're not comfortable sharing that information, again, that's okay too. The next thing I wanted to highlight is the impacts section. It starts with just an open question to describe what the impacts are to this person or family. It's a free format text field. You don't have to tell their whole family situation or family history. It should be specific to things related to coronavirus and all the things that are happening right now. So it's where you could document if somebody has lost their job or has a reduced income, what the makeup is in the family dynamics, if there's some additional challenges there that are going to be strained or stressed in this situation. So it just allows you to enter that directly as just free format text. And then the next section is really what we're trying to get at with what the needs are based on their situation. And this is a checkbox and a list of what the resources are that we might be able to provide. We put together this list based on what we feel we have available within the Trinity community and potentially what might be available in their community, such as food pantries, things like that. So it is a specific list of the types of needs that we might be able to fill. There is a section at the bottom where you can add additional needs if it's not already listed there. And then most importantly, at the bottom of that, underneath there, it allows you to add more clarification. So for example, if you check the box that said that they had a financial need, in the detail below, you could say they needed help with a specific bill and what the amount might be related to that. So that's pretty much all the information in the form. Once you've tabbed through all the fields and entered all the information that's required, you can hit submit. And then it'll give you the option of just closing out of it or going on to enter another form. If you want to enter another intake form at a later time, you would just click on that same link and create a new one. All of the information that gets entered into the form will get fed into a spreadsheet. So that's part of why we use the Google Forms technology, because it allows us to take all of that input and put it into a consolidated master spreadsheet where we'll be able to track what people's needs are, and then of course, most importantly, how we're following up and what we can possibly do to help them. And we'll be tracking all of that additional information in this spreadsheet. But the team that will be looking at what the needs are and how we can help will be using that spreadsheet quite a bit. So it's important to use that form so that it can feed into this master spreadsheet. So if you have any other questions, you can definitely contact me directly, either via email or cell phone, and I'll provide all that information in the email. But the last thing that I also wanted to mention is to be very careful when you're talking to people to not set any expectations about what we may or may not be able to do. We don't want to give any indication that we'll definitely be able to satisfy these needs. Obviously, we want to give them love and support and hope, but we don't want to set unrealistic expectations and cause further anxiety for people. So thank you again for being willing to do this. I'm really glad that we're reaching out and trying to show people the love of Christ and reach out in this challenging time and let them know that they're not alone and that there's people that are thinking and caring about them. And thank you for being one of those people. God bless.